So this is not for laughs or anything now. I wanted to get serious for a moment with you, Maddie, because something's going on in my life that's tough, really tough, and I thought maybe you have some advice or some listeners might have been through this. But Rod and I have just hit this age where all of our friends' parents have hit their 80s and stuff, and we're losing parents. And it's a yuck stage of life, that the age we are, that we've hit, and you're going through it with your friends. And I think the one great thing that we have is a beautiful circle of friends to help you through that. But one of my best friends just last week lost her mum, Sue, and Sue's like, one of my very closest friends. And you think, what do? You flowers. You take flowers. I took flowers, and then on the weekend I went over and helped to clean all the flowers, because then the flowers all died. You got to fix the flowers. But it was lovely, and we walked into her house and you could smell the flowers. And I said, that must make you feel loved, and everyone's thinking about you. But what do you say? It's the hardest thing to know what to say to someone when you haven't really been through that on yourself, and to understand how that must feel. So I'm just trying to do everything that I can, like walking and talking.
Yeah.
I went over on, I think it was Thursday, and she said, right, I'm taking a day off grieving. I just want a day off grieving. Let's just go for a walk and we'll just talk about everything else. I said, okay, whatever you want to do. And as soon as we got out on the walk, we talked about her dad. She still wanted to. And I know you've got to be that friend who's just there, but I don't know. Have you had this happen to you yet?
Last 2 weeks ago, one of my best mates, my groomsman, lost his old man. And the same thing, I think, unfortunately we don't live in the same city, so it's not as easy to see him.
It's tough.
Really hard. But I think, and earlier and last year, which was quite sad, part of our school community, one of the mums lost her 7-year battle with brain cancer and left behind 2 kids and a husband, and the school community rallied around them. But it is a tricky one, but I think is just letting them know you're there. I guess that's my thing. I've never had to really. I've been in a very fortunate position that I haven't had to really deal with too much grief in my life, but. Just knowing through what those guys have gone through, and it's just listening, just a call is a lot. Like I remember, I won't say names, but I remember he was like, I don't need another bloody lasagna. Like if someone gives me another lasagna, I've got no room in my freezer. Like it's all good and well, but he's like, just how about we just go for a walk, go for a run on Sunday, or just pick up the phone and check in. And the other one is not. When you're saying you went for a walk and she just said, we'll talk about something else, and she started talking about her dad.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the bigger misconceptions with grief, is to not talk about the person that's passed away.
The thing,
it's like talk about them, celebrate them, because they're a big part of that person's life, and they're grieving. And grief, you need to make sure you can get it all out.
That's right. Well, we went on Saturday, and I didn't cook a lasagna. I cooked a shepherd's pie, but she had said, because she's getting all these flowers, and she had, I just want someone to cook me dinner, because you're so involved in getting ready for the service and all that sort of stuff. So we took some food as well. But it's hard, and you say, you know what, if your parents make it to their 80s and mid-80s and the late 80s, you think, well, they've had a good life, but it's your mum and it's your dad. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's like, I'm dreading it, and I'm dreading the thing about, the one that's left over, how hard that is. One of my best friends, Johnny, said it's one thing to watch your mum pass, but that's another thing to watch your dad get used to that. And I just didn't know if you guys would, if anyone's been through it, and you have some advice of what you can do and how to make it okay and what to say. And I don't know, maybe it's a person by person thing, but it's that yuck time that kind of is going to hit all of us, I guess. I guess it is.
There's a great podcast, G, by a couple of Aussie girls, Sally Douglas and Imogen Rose, called the Good Morning Podcast, MOURNING. Good Morning Podcast, which is great. And there's a very good, if someone's listening at the moment, this is a little triggering for them. Obviously, this is it's a hard topic to talk about, but it's a real one. There's a great episode of The Imperfects. It's Hugh Van Cuylenberg, Ryan Shelton, and Josh Van Cuylenberg, one of the biggest podcasts in the country. They chat to a clinical psychologist, once a month, Dr. Emily Musgrove, and she did this pod on values, and quite a bit of it touches on grief as well. And I recommend that for anyone who might be struggling a little bit at the moment on that. But we can take your calls in just a sec.
Okay, so I just, I've stopped crying now. I've calmed myself over that time. But Bronwyn has called in from Gorick. And Bronwyn, hello.
Hello.
You got some advice for me?
Well, the only advice I can give you, Gina, is it's very hard to lose your father because he was your very first love on the male side, you know, and your bestest male friend. I've lost both my parents, but what I found, like, the first few days, I just had to be on my own, do my thing, you know, and reflect that way. But then to have your friends around and, you know, think of all the happy memories and everything you did together and remember. It takes a while for it to be a lot easier, but something will always pop up during the day. Like, my dad's been gone 20 years, but something will always pop up during the day and you go, shit, that was my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it will get easier well over time. It takes a long time, especially when it comes to your dad. And but like being the female, the daughter, it is harder.
Oh, Bronwyn, thank you so much for sharing. And Louise has called in as well. If you missed it before, Gina, I'll just reset that Gina is currently your best mate, lost her mum over the last week or so, and you've been hanging out with her a bit and sort of...
Yeah, just trying to help her out, not really knowing what to say.
Yeah, Louise is on the line. Hi, Louise.
Hello.
What do you reckon, Louise? You got some advice?
I lost my father 5 years ago due to a tragic accident. And I think what people need to do, well, you know, what helped me is ask people what they need. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to do that, trying to call, you know, we helped them with their slideshow as well, which was really tough for Sue to watch through all the photos. And when I say we, I mean my husband, who's good at that stuff, and helped put music to it. And that was actually quite good for her, looking back through her mum's life and us asking, tell us about that, what happened there, and letting them try and explain things about her mum to us. But, yeah, thanks, Louise. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sort of... setting at the goals on, like, you know, memories and everything is a good way to go, you know. And that's what helped me and my family get through with losing my father.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for
Once
that.
again, thanks for sharing, Louise. Thank you to everyone who called, especially as well everyone who called in and spoke to Gina off air as well and had some advice there as well. If you've got anything you'd like to add to the conversation, you can always get involved with us via the socials. You can send Gina a message via our Instagram at Gina and Maddie.